today we will be working a lot with the sun energy, and we will be working with star energy, and they are the same thing. Suns and stars are the same thing. Our sun is a star. And I want to give you a little bit of background as what stars are and how the Earth is made of stars and how we are made of stardust, and how we're going to learn to access and release that energy in ourselves today. We are still going on a journey into the center of the Earth and into creation, but within that we will be working with the energy of stars. And so I'm going to give you a brief history of our sun and a star to just put it into context. So stars are basically born out of hydrogen gas just floating in space, and it comes together, and at a certain point it builds a mass and gravity, and in the middle it starts fusioning, and that is the birth of a sun. And it carries on fusioning. It brings the hydrogen molecules together and creates helium, and that's what gives off this massive energy from a sun. And it gets older and older and goes through lots of different stages, and when it's run out of hydrogen, then it starts combining helium, and it starts working up through the periodic table, through the different elements. And when it gets to iron, it can go no further. It gets stuck at iron, and at that point either it just dies and just slowly gets cooler and then breaks up and becomes dust and floats off through the galaxy, or it becomes a supernova and it implodes inwardly, and it implodes inwardly fast at a quarter of the speed of light. So in 1 second that sun completely implodes, and in that 1 second, in that incredible fast implosion, it creates more energy and more light than our sun does in its whole lifetime. That's like 100 billion years. In 1 second it produces more light than a sun would in 100 billion years. So it's incredible energy is produced in that time, and the whole rest of the periodic table, what's taken 100 million years to go through, I think 20 elements up to iron, it produces the other 85 elements in 1 second, and in doing so it produces that incredible energy. And the very last, at the very pinnacle, at the last bit of that 1 second and incredible energy and incredible light, it produces the heaviest elements, which are thorium, uranium and plutonium, and they are formed, and then that explodes as a supernova, and gas and particles and those elements are just exploded out across the galaxy. And then new suns will be born out of that. New suns will collect that dust together and hydrogen, and a new sun will be born, and the debris around that sun will become planets. And that is how Earth has been formed. So we have been formed out of a supernova, and our sun has been born out of a supernova and hydrogen. And on our planet we have all the elements that were built up as that sun had got older and gone into a supernova. And the radioactive elements, the thorium, the uranium, plutonium, they're heavier than the other elements, and they get drawn to, in the magma, in the internal part of the earth, they get drawn to the center of the earth because they're heavier. And as there gets more and more of them in the center of the earth, as they become closer together, they start fissioning, the same as would happen in a nuclear reaction or nuclear nuclear reactor in a power station. That fission that makes nuclear power, this a giant massive one of those in the center of the earth, and that is what heats the whole center of the earth. That is what keeps the magma molten. That is what moves these big plates around on the surface of the earth and causes the flows, the massive flows and rivers in the lava, is that energy being released. And what fission is the thorium or the uranium or the plutonium. Their cells break apart and create energy, and the energy they're releasing is the energy that was built up in that pinnacle of heat in the supernova. That pressure, heat and light in the supernova created those elements, and when they break apart, they are releasing that energy back, and they're releasing it back into the center of the earth. So that is heating the center of the earth. The earth is heated by star power. And one of the reasons I give a little bit of a lead up into this is because generally people have become fearful of radioactivity. And yes, it would be dangerous if you stood right next to a nuclear reaction going off. You know, if you had too much of it, it's dangerous. But all around us, all of the time, and from us, there is radiation being emitted. And in the past, there was much more of it. A lot of it has just burnt out, but it's releasing from different elements within a square meter of just earth. There is enough thorium in that to provide the power for all of your needs for your whole life. So these elements are everywhere. They're not fissioning or giving off radioactivity all the time, but they are there, and we're receiving that energy. And for me, it is part of us. There's a part of us that relates to that radioactivity, and for me, the radioactivity is the energy that was releasing in us that has been made from stars. So stars being suns, we're going to work with that today. We're going to go on a journey into the earth, and when we get to the central sphere of the earth, we're going to become in contact with those elements and be with that. I will just talk a little bit. I'm kind of prepping the energy at the minute. I'm describing what's going to happen, and then as we go into it, I will teach you holographic breathing, which is what we will be using on the journey. It's very good for journeying with. We'll be using that to journey into the earth, and as we travel through the earth, we will be relating it to our own bodies and energies. So you can journey into the earth along with us. If you don't feel to journey into the earth, it's fine just to stay in your body and relate whichever areas we're going through just in your bodies. People do this differently. But the crust of the earth, as we start moving through the crust of the earth, this is more to do with the hara. This is the denser areas. This is like the bones, this is the lower organs, the lower energies. And we'll slowly work through that with the holographic breathing and using that to heal ourselves as a balance in nature. First, we ask the earth if it's okay, if we can go on that journey. And she's never said no yet, but it's respectful and a way of connecting. And then after we've moved through the outer shell of the earth, you drop into the lava and molten rock. And within us, that more relates to the fire energies in us, which is a lot to do with the ovaries, testes, the uterus and prostate, the heart, the hara. These have that fiery energy, and it's really good for healing that area of ourselves and meeting with that energy in a natural sphere in the earth, kind of as our mother earth in a way. And then we travel through the lava, communicating with the earth, healing within ourselves. And as we come closer to the middle of the earth, we start coming to the metals, we start coming to the thorium, the uranium, the plutonium. And the metals bring us more up into the cranium and the higher energies. And when we work with the thorium, with the uranium and with the plutonium, it's brought us up into the cranium, into the brain. When they ignite, when they split and give that energy off, that relates to something in us, and that energy pours through us. It doesn't just happen in the earth, it pours through us, and that gives the connection to the higher self. This effect of fissioning isn't something to fear. If you fear it, then you drop away from it. But if you allow that, that is the connection from our brain and our cranium to the higher self. In that, well, at least for me anyway, that's what happens in me. That may not happen with you, but that is what happens with me. When the metal elements bring you up into the cranium, when they fission, when the uranium splits, when the plutonium splits, when the thorium splits, then you get this bright energy that connects through the kundalini, out through the top of the head, and connects up our relationship to the higher self. So it's an important aspect. So I know there's been a lot of accidents and wars using this energy. It's been used in a bad way. But as a natural phenomena, as the potency that is heating the central of the earth, and it's not just heat coming out of it, it is producing waves of subtle energy that are opening up from the center of the earth through the whole earth and through us, and are represented in us. So it is good not to fear this energy and label it as bad. It is good to get to know that energy. And then when we come to the very center of the earth, gravity balances that energy of transcendence. When it kind of goes through the top of the head, it moves us into transcendence. That energy of transcendence kind of levels out, and the whole of the earth just disappears, it evaporates. And you move into from this bright white energy to the void, this kind of darkness, this emptiness, or the center of the universe, or deep space. It has that quality. It's the polar opposite of what we were in. When we reach the middle of the earth is no longer there. And this is a bit like going through death or going back through conception, and you end up in creation, or where we go when we die, or where we come from when we're born. And there is a little bit of fear of death as we go into that, but if you embrace that, then this is a fantastic place where you can let go of everything. You can let go of life itself. You can let go of all of the baggage that you hold in your life. And when you go through that, when we're in this lifetime, it's not so easy to access and release the karma of past lives. But when you go through that death or back through conception into that place, you are no longer held by this lifetime. So you can start letting go of lifetimes and lifetimes of karma and circles from that place. It's a beautiful place to be. If it scares you a bit, it's fine to make a little thing saying, yeah, I want to go there, but I don't actually really want to die. I want to be alive after this webinar. But it is that experience of death without actually physically dying. So it's a lovely place to hang out. And then after a while, you find out that you're in deep space or somewhere stars start forming around you. So you're in the center of it where there's nothing. And then you start moving out and stars start forming around you. And as we're working with stars, we're going to hang out there for a while because our body is forming like anew. It's a bit like we've died or we've gone back through conception and we're an energy and a new body is forming, and it's being fed by stars or by suns, and you can feel that. And the stars and the sun, as when we went to the center of the earth, is to do with the brain, the central nervous system, the cranium. The stars are relating to that energy, the nervous system, the central nervous system in us, the brain, the kundalini, the connection to the higher self. And you can feel that energy playing up and down your spine. So it's a real journey we're going on today. It's quite a long journey. So I'm just going through it in a way to prep it and get the energies going so you know where you're going to be traveling. And after a while, there's this feeling that you do want to manifest, you do want to be physical, and you first feel it in the heart, or I do. There's a feeling the being starts moving into the heart, and at the same time it connects to the magma in the earth, and you find yourself being formed back in the earth as a baby in the womb of the earth, connected through the heart, but also the hara, and it's the uterus and prostate, ovaries and testes, because it's the womb of the earth you're arriving in, and that relates to the womb in the women or the prostate in the men. And it's healing through that, and then suddenly you feel, I'm physical. When you're in the stars, you don't really have a body. You have an energetic body. You don't have a physical one. But when you land back in the earth, you have a physicality. We'll spend some time being formed and loved, and then the crust of the earth is like being born. It's like the vagina or in the men it's the energy of the penis, but the earth is a woman, so it's the vagina, or the lower energies, or the bones, and then this really gives you some physicality. Your sac of fluid has popped and you're moving. You can feel the rock on you. Suddenly you can feel your body rather than being in fluid. You are surrounded by solid. It really gives you a feeling of your physicality, and it's really great again for letting the spine unwind. And this isn't a memory of this birth you've had this lifetime from your mother on this planet. This is a new rebirth, and you can have it however you wish. You can just spend time working with those energies anew and give yourself a whole new experience of birth on a cosmic level. And then that starts to break up all the past lives of birth and death, because you start having a new one that you're really able to be with, and is from the stars, from the sun and from the earth. And then finally you're born onto the surface. But you still have, because we're relating it to our bodies and energies as we go on that journey, you still have that connection through the earth to the stars and back again as part of the earth. So that is the journey we're going to go on. First of all, I'm going to teach you holographic breathing. This is what we're going to use to go on the journey. This is something a form of breathing I've discovered myself. I've used it to cure myself of Lyme's disease. It's starting to become more popular. People come and learn. There's lots of people here who come and learn with me regularly. And it's fantastic for our being to travel through our bodies, through our anatomy, through our energies. So it's great for traveling within ourselves, but we can also use it for traveling outside of ourselves, through the earth, or to the sun, or to the stars, wherever we want to go, really. So I'm going to teach that first. So we'll learn the holographic breathing. We'll have a 5-minute break, and then we're off to the center of the earth. I'm sure someone made a movie of this somewhere along the line. So okay, now in holographic breathing, there is a very gentle motion of the jaw. On the in-breath, the jaw is very gently opening. On the out-breath, the jaw is very gently closing. Along with that, the lips are closed all of the time, and the tongue is on the roof all of the time, of the roof of the mouth all of the time. Now, new people generally can't just do that straight away. We're going to go through some exercises to learn that. But as I'm not there to see exactly what you're doing, I'm just going to say one of the pitfalls that can happen. Even though when I'm describing it, I say the lips are closed and the tongue is on the roof of the mouth. On the in-breath, the jaw gently opens, and on the out-breath, the jaw gently closes. Quite often when people are learning it and they come to open the jaw, people think they have to open the lips. Think, oh, Martin said that differently at the beginning, but actually what he must mean is that when we open the jaw, we're opening our lips at the same time. But actually no, as the jaw opens, the lips stay closed and the tongue stays on the roof of the mouth. I'm just going to demonstrate it so you can see that it's very subtle. Now once this gets going, it just becomes totally natural. It's as if you don't even know it's happening. It just becomes very natural. But learning it, you have to go through some exercise. I'm just going to demonstrate it for a few breaths so you can see it is subtle and that the lips aren't opening and closing. So I'll just drop into that for just a little while. So when doing this, when breathing in this way, at least for me, it takes me into a very deep state of consciousness and meditation almost instantly. It's very light, it's very meditative and energy based, so it's not an exercise, it's not a heavy breathing, it's very relaxed and you just let it go naturally in its own way. So we're going to start learning that now. This is going to take about 10 minutes, so it's good if you're learning this for the first time to be seated rather than lying down, because if you're lying down it is incredibly relaxing. It's really easy just to go to sleep. So for the new people, just for this bit, as we're learning the holographic breathing, it's great just to remain seated and to follow the instructions. Once you're doing it, it's just natural and you can do what you wish with it. But in this first one, it is important to follow along behind the instructions. At a certain point, it just releases and happens on itself. But up to that point, we want to get all the little bits in place. So we're going to start with that now. So closing your eyes. For the people who already know holographic breathing, just dropping into holographic breathing. And for people who don't know holographic breathing, just breathing gently. And we're going to start off by bringing in some resources and sending a smile, sending some energy to the earth, and allow the earth to say hello back. Allow yourself to receive from the earth, and notice what that feels like through your body and through your energies. And then sending a smile, sending some energy to the higher self, and allow the higher self to say hello back. Allow yourself to communicate with the higher self both ways. Notice what that feels like through your body and through your energies. And breathe. Let your spine relax, let your cranium relax and breathe. And now we're going to go through some exercises to start the holographic breathing. So the breath is through the nose all of the time. And the lips are relaxed and closed all of the time. And the tongue is on the roof of the mouth. It's the upper surface of the tongue. It's not the tip of the tongue, it's the upper surface of the tongue is on the roof of the mouth. And as much as feels comfortable, maybe half an inch, maybe a whole inch, maybe the whole tongue is on the whole roof of the mouth, but whatever feels most comfortable, you're gently breathing through the nose, your lips are relaxed and closed, and your tongue is relaxed and nestling on the roof of the mouth. Relax the back of the neck, relax the back of the head. And now just a small motion of the jaw, about half a finger width. It's not a big motion. Just start moving the jaw up and down. This is a bit like chewing. When we're eating, we keep our lips closed and the jaw can go up and down. So just moving the jaw up and down, notice that you can do that, and you can still have the lips relaxed and closed and the tongue on the roof of the mouth. Now slow that down, so it's just a very slow motion of the jaw. And now connect that to the breath as the jaw is very gently opening, the breath is coming in through the nose. And as the jaw is gently closing, the breath is coming out through the nose. So the jaw opens. It's like a little bellows. It draws the breath in through the nose. And as the jaw closes, it lets the breath out through the nose. It's just a small, gentle motion of the jaw. And relax the back of the neck, relax the back of the head, and notice you can keep your lips closed all of the time, and you can keep your tongue on the roof of the mouth all of the time. And now we're going to change the emphasis. Rather than the jaw moving first, we're going to bring the emphasis to the breath. So as the breath is arriving through the nose, the jaw gently opens. And as the breath is gently leaving through the nose, the jaw gently closes. Notice how everything changes. Everything gets softer, everything becomes more meditative as you bring your awareness to the breath and the jaw follows. Breathing in, the jaw relaxes open. Breathing out, the jaw relaxes closed. Very gentle, very soft. May start feeling as if you already know how to do this. It's already naturally plumbed into your body. It's part of your DNA, As the breath comes in through the nose, the jaw relaxes open. As the breath comes out through the nose, the jaw relaxes closed. As the teeth come together, they just gently touch or float together. There's no pressure, or they just don't quite touch. The breath comes in through the nose, the jaw gently relaxes open. The breath comes out through the nose, the jaw relaxes closed. The teeth just gently touching or not touching at all. And then bringing that into your body. As the chest opens, as you're breathing in and the chest is opening, as the chest is opening, the jaw gently opens. As the chest is closing, the jaw gently closes. And be aware the lips stay relaxed and closed all of the time. The tongue stays on the roof of the mouth all of the time. As the abdomen opens, the jaw gently opens with it. As the abdomen closes, the jaw gently closes with the abdomen. The tongue stays relaxed and on the roof of the mouth all of the time. The lips stay closed all of the time. Breathing in, the whole torso is opening and the jaw just follows along. Breathing out, the whole torso is closing and the jaw just gently follows along with the movement. It becomes part and parcel of the movement of the breath. Notice in a very subtle way your whole face, your whole cranium, your whole brain has started to breathe with the rest of your body. Breathing in, the jaw is relaxing open and your whole body is relaxing open. Breathing out, your whole body is closing and the jaw is closing. Being aware of the face, the cranium, the brain, you may start noticing some energy moving in your spine as all the different energy meridians start connecting. Breathing in, it all opens. Breathing out, it all closes. The whole of your body, every cell, opening on the in-breath and the jaw gently following. Closing on the out-breath and the jaw gently following. Let your spine release. Let your cranium release. Allow yourself to connect with the earth and allow yourself to connect with the heavens, relaxing the back of the neck, relaxing the back of your head. Let everything go. Let everything breathe and relax. It should become very gentle, very natural. And when you feel ready, just slowly allowing yourselves to come back.